everybody? Michael Cohen back here on the Sports Talk Nation. It is time to preview the New York Jets 2025 season, and we're going to go through the schedule. If you saw the video that I did on the Giants, which you can watch right here, I'm using the schedule predictor on NFL Perry Pick'em. That's NFLPerry.com, and they have the entire schedule laid out. We'll pull up the schedule in just a moment, but the Jets come into this year. Really, it's going to be fascinating this year, guys, okay? Obviously, a first-year head coach, a first-year front office. Darren Mucci, of course, the GM. Aaron Glenn, head coach. They got a new quarterback here in Justin Fields. A lot of questions about the supporting cast, obviously, especially at wide receiver. Outside of Garrett Wilson, the Jets come into the 2025 season really without a true number 2 receiver. There's been rumors that maybe the Jets will make a deal for another wide receiver. Jacoby Myers of the Las Vegas Raiders has been a guy who has been rumored as a possible trade chip, maybe coming to the Jets, but that's just all rumor. Right now, the Jets come into the season. Garrett Wilson is their number 1 guy, and most likely you'll see Alan Lazard be the number 2 receiver of this team. Maybe Josh Reynolds gets into the mix. But the fact is, the Jets are going to be a run-heavy offense this year in 2025. Justin Fields, a guy who had a lot of issues with consistency throughout his career as a passer, whether it be with the Bears or the Steelers. That issue showed up big time throughout training camp and in the preseason. Had a very uneven training camp this year. We know what he can do as a runner, but it's as a passer that's a concern for the Jets going into this season. And then, of course, the concerns about what's going to happen with the running back situation. Breece Hall is, of course, a trade chip. Is he going to be traded come, let's say, October when the trade deadline comes? The Jets could certainly move him. They have depth there with Braylon Allen and Isaiah Davis right behind him in the running back department. So there's going to be a lot of moving and shaking with the Jets this year. If there's one constant, it's probably going to be their offensive line, which looks really good on paper. Obviously with Olu Fasanu and Ahmed Membo, the 2 cornerstone tackles at right and left tackle, John Simpson, AVT, and Joe Tippmann rounding up the middle with guards and center. That's going to be the solid piece of this offense. Is the offensive line. Can they keep Justin Fields upright, and can they give him time to make plays, not just in the pocket, but also with his legs? Defensively, I like where the Jets are. I especially like where they are up front with guys like Will McDonald, who's coming off of a big year last year. I expect big things from him this year in 2025. The nice rotation the Jets are going to have here with Harrison Phillips and Jaywan Briggs. We'll see what you're going to get out of Michael Clemens this year if he can stay focused. Obviously, the Williams brothers go without saying. Quincy Williams are 2 of the best in the league, and certainly 2 of the best on this team as far as rushing the passer and stopping the run. And it should be a fun season for Sauce Gardner because for the last couple of years, he is a guy who, as talented as he is, and as much ballyhooed as one of the best corners in the league, at times he is taking a lot of criticism for being a guy who maybe soft in coverage and doesn't force a lot of turnovers. I think that's going to change this year for him. I think we'll see a number of plays where he gets turnovers this year in 2025. And certainly the return of Nick Folk at kicker should be fun to see and how that's going to develop over time. But I think one thing that's going to be key is going to be Aaron Glenn. How's he going to be as a head coach? Because this is expected to be a rough year for the Jets. It's a transition year. It's a new head coach, a new regime. They're trying to see what pieces fit and don't. There's going to be games this year where the Jets are going to lose that they probably should win. Then there's going to be games this year where the Jets are going to lose where they're going to get destroyed. And Aaron Glenn, who has shown a propensity so far to be kind of testy with the media, that's going to get tested this year. And it will be fun to see how he handles both the media and the adversity that's going to come with this season, because there's going to be a lot of adversity in 2025. It's not going to be smooth sailing all the way through. So without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, there it is. There's the Jets schedule. It's NFL Perry Pick'em, as they have that up online. NFL Perry Pick'em. We start off, of course, Week 1. The Jets take on the Pittsburgh Steelers, and some quarterback that we all may have heard of. Oh, that's right, Aaron Rodgers. He makes his return to MetLife Stadium. This goes without saying is the featured game of the season. Obviously, how far along is Aaron Rodgers with the Pittsburgh Steelers offense and these players? They of course made a lot of changes to the Steelers last offseason. DK Metcalf is now here. Pickens is gone. He was traded out of town. What's the chemistry going to be with Rodgers and this offense? I'm fascinated to see how that's going to play out. And what's he going to look like against this Jet defense? The last time he faced the Jets as an opponent, when he was with the Packers a few years ago, the Jets mauled him in a game up in Green Bay. I think this is going to be a very close game. I could see it going either way. But my concern is this. Justin Fields against that Steelers defense. I know Fields played well for the Steelers last year when he was their quarterback, but tables have turned a little bit, and certainly Pittsburgh knows what Justin Fields brings to the table, and they'll be ready for it. So I'm going to say the Steelers win a very tight, close game that could come down to a field goal. Steelers win. Jets fall to 0-1. So now we move on to Week 2 against the Buffalo Bills. It should be interesting to see where the Bills are here because they play a very tough matchup the week before against the Ravens on a Sunday night. I do think Buffalo goes into the Meadowlands and beats up the Jets. Jets fall to 0-2. Then comes Week 3. The Jets go to Tampa Bay. They're going to be in Florida for 2 straight weeks at Tampa Bay, at Florida. Bucs, very good defense. Baker Mayfield, and of course, that defense coached by ex-Jet head coach. Now head coach of the Bucs for a 4th year, I believe, now. Todd Bowles. The Todd Bowles revenge game. And a 0-3 start for the Jets as they are off to a rough start in 2025. And certainly then you're going to start to hear the media. You're going to hear the fans on talk radio going crazy. Oh my God, it's all what's going on, brother. It will be a rough start for the Jets here in this season. Week 4 against the Miami Dolphins on a Monday night. This is going to be an early Monday night game. It's a doubleheader that week in Week 4. The Dolphins have been wearing those ugly Miami Vice-inspired NFL rivalry uniforms. Outside of that, I do have concerns about Miami coming into the season as well. Feels like this is now or never for Mike McDaniel and crew down there in MIA. But I do think if the Jets are going to pull out a win early in the year, it will be this one against the Fish in Miami, and the Jets get to 1-3. Dallas at home in Week 5. You know what? I'll be honest with you. If I had done this video 2 weeks ago, before the Micah Parsons trade, I would have said Dallas probably goes in there and wins. And that may still be the case, because I think these two teams are going to struggle this year. But I will say the Jets win at home, finally get a victory at home after losing their first 2 at home, and they beat the Cowboys to get to 2-3. Against the Broncos over in the United Kingdom, the second straight year the Jets are in the UK. This time they are the home team, take on the Broncos. Broncos are going to be a prickly team all year, team that a lot of people think could challenge in the AFC West, and I do think Denver gets the victory against the Jets in the United Kingdom. Jets now fall all time to 1-4 in the UK. No bye week, though, for the Jets coming off that long road trip. They will then take on the Carolina Panthers, and this will be a victory for the Jets. Panthers are, like the Jets, kind of a rebuilding team. Second year now under this current coaching staff down there in Carolina. Second year for Dave Canales and his coaching staff down there in Carolina. Can Bryce Young start to turn it around a little bit for the Panthers over the course of the year? We'll see. I have my doubts about how good the Panthers are going to be. I like the Jets in this game to get to 3-4. Now we go into Cincinnati, the Bengals, the team that, with Joe Burrow and company, you could say what you want to say about the Bengals as far as their defense is concerned. They give up a lot of points, but I do think Cincinnati will be much better this year compared to last year, and a lot of those losses that they had last year will turn to wins this year. I do like Cincinnati to take care of the Jets in week 8 rather. There you go. Maybe change that. And the Jets will take the loss in Cincinnati, and they'll be 3-5. Now going into the bye week, coming out of the bye week, the Jets get the Browns. Who's going to be the quarterback for the Browns in week 10? Will it be Joe Flacco? Will it be Shedeur Sanders? Will it be Dylan Gabriel? I don't know. It's going to be somebody. But one of those guys will be starting. Certainly if it's Shedeur Sanders, my goodness, what a storyline that will be going into Week 10. And even if it's Joe Flacco, that's a huge storyline as well. If it's Flacco, I could see the Jets taking the loss. If it's Shedeur, I could see the Jets sneaking out a victory. So I think this will be a tough one to call against Cleveland. I'll give the Jets the win, and they will get their 4th win of the year, surprisingly, sitting there at 4-5 in the year through 9 games. Now, Week 11 against the Patriots. This is where it's going to get dicey. I give the Jets a loss on the road in New England, a loss on the road in Baltimore, a big loss on the road in Baltimore. The Jets are sitting there at 4-7. In come the Falcons, a team that, well, kind of like the Dolphins and kind of like the Browns and kind of like another team I think is going to be kind of a mystery this year, like the Raiders. You don't know what to expect from them. They're a team that a lot of people think could be better. We'll see. For the record, I'll take the Jets in this game at home against the Falcons, get to 5-7. This is where it gets tricky because a lot of people think the Jets have the last third of their schedule should be doable, and it should be. It should be doable. But never discount the Jets to do something that's going to drive you crazy, right? I do think that Week 14 against the Dolphins is a tricky spot, and I like Miami to come in here and shock the Jets. And that's going to PO a lot of fans, I know. But I will take Miami in Week 14 against the Jets. Week 15 down in Jacksonville. Another tough spot for the Jets to be in. And I know the Jets won there last year. I think it's going to be different this time. I'll take the Jaguars in Week 15. Week 16 against the Saints. The Jets better going to win. Saints could be looking at 0-17 this year. I'm being dead serious with you with the Saints. A win against New Orleans. In come the Patriots. Can the Jets finally beat the Patriots and, of course, beat them at home? I think they do. Jets get the 7-9, and then Week 18 at the Bills. Last game up at Ralph Wilson Stadium. Of course, the Bills will be bringing back their red helmets for that game. Buffalo probably trying to clinch, if they haven't already, home field, or certainly they'll have the division wrapped up by that point. They'll be chasing with Baltimore and Kansas City for home field advantage, as we know, going into Week 18. I'll take Buffalo. So the Jets finish the season, according to this, at 7-10. That's not bad. That's not bad for a first-year job with Aaron Glenn and this coaching staff. What that means for Justin Fields, I think it depends on how the season plays out. And we'll see what the Jets decide to do, whether they want to move forward with him or go in another direction with another veteran, or perhaps look towards the draft in 2026. So 7-10 for the Jets. That's my pick for the 2025 season. Like and subscribe. We'll talk to you next time.